Hello again. Thanks for stopping in. There's a couple items in the lineup here that are here for pull start repair. This guy here. And one of these chainsaws. This MS250. So let's go deal with these two right now. Okay, first up here we have the Stihl HS45 Hedge trimmer, hedge clipper, whatever you call it. I don't trim hedges, I just fix them. He says it ran excellent 10 years ago when the pull start broke, so it should be no issue. There's some rope left in there. It looks like it's melted in there. I'm just gonna dig it out. So I've got the string pulled out. I'm gonna grab that knot and pull the whole thing out by the knot. Okay, pull the strings out. Put this clip back on. If I had a new spring, I'd put it in, but I don't, so I just lubricated it. It feels better now. Next, we're going to install new string, and it didn't come with a handle, so he'll get a new handle as well. I just burnt the end of this and put it through the top of the new handle. And up here, we're going to tie a knot. I don't know what you call this knot. I just call it the Stihl knot. So there's that one. So through the hole, there's a hole in the side, through it, and then up to the top. Got our piece. We're going to tie a knot in this end. Got our knot in the other side. I tied just the same knot there. You don't really want anything sticking up like that little nub. You want to make sure it all gets tucked down in that hole. So I'm going to stick that nub in and then push the whole, I'm going to push the whole thing down in there. Okay, so there's what we have in there now. Once you have this back together, you want your handle to do that. If your handle just laid out here, then you need to put one more wind in this. And if you thought it was too tight, then you would take one wind back out of this. But that there is perfect. Let's put it back on this unit. So we've got some screws that are going into metal and some that are going into plastic. So you'll want to pay attention to these as you put them back in. Okay, that's back on. Apparently this thing starts and runs, so let's just fire it up quick and then we'll move on to the chainsaw. All right, we'll turn it on, we'll choke it, we'll prime it. I hope this thing runs. Perfect. This is the MS291. It was in my lineup over there, and the tag said missing a bar nut. The bar could be bent, and just give it a quick look over and a blow off. Let's get started. That bar is not bent. Maybe he has a chain problem, but I see no issue with the bar. His drive teeth don't fit down in the bar. So I think the bar is fine, but I just put the chain on it here just to kind of roll it around. And the chain, the drivers won't fit down in the groove of the bar. See that? Like quite a few of them won't fit down. And those couple will. He's probably derailed the chain. And these are all dented up. and they won't fit down in. Okay, so I think his bar is fine. I'm going to zoom in on the chain here and show you up close. So there's your drivers. That's what rides in the bar, down in the bar groove. They're kind of like a shark's fin, the shape of a fin, I guess. Now look at those ones. That's no longer, the fin is gone. These are smashed right up. That's why the chain won't go down in the groove of the bar. And many of them are smashed, misshapen, mushroomed. Okay, so what did they smash into? Maybe the chain catcher? Here's a saw. It doesn't actually look like a chain's barely hit it. Whoa, there we go. I didn't even notice this when it was sitting over there. So that's his crankcase, his bar oil. Doesn't look wet. Wow. He didn't mention this. He may not even know that I don't know how he did this. So we've got a smashed up crankcase and a smashed up chain. I don't know the sequence of events that led to this. I should check and see if there's bar oil in it. Yep. So 3/4 full of bar oil, so it's holding oil. Wow. And in the process of whatever happened here, he lost a bar nut. I'm sure when he comes in to pick this up and we show him this, his memory will come back and he'll remember maybe the saw fell from, I don't think it was ran over. The handles, I don't see any other damage to the saw. Nothing else is broken. Just that. Okay, we're going to check the fuel in the saw. Take it outside. Make sure it starts and runs. Then we'll service it, clean it up. It doesn't look very dirty. I don't think it needs much. Then we'll put the bar and new chain on it. I wouldn't replace the crankcase in this. This would be something that if he wanted to, he would have to buy it and do it on his own time. Replacing the crankcase involves taking this whole saw apart, and it wouldn't be very cost effective. Let's check the fuel. There's lots of fuel in it. Starting with a clean cup. The tank looks very, very clean inside. The fuel smells good, looks good. I don't see any water. I'll go ahead and put it back in. I looked back through my records and I sold this brand new in 2019. Just a tiny little bit of dirt in the bottom there. Let's pop outside with it. I don't expect there's any running problem with it, but before I do anything to a saw, I do like to hear it run. So let's step out into the dark night and start it. I'll meet you out there. Well, that thing starts and runs no problem. If you have loose bar nuts, when you start the saw up, they will vibrate off very quickly, as you just seen. I should have taken the cover off before I went out. But anyway, I got it back. The saw is pretty clean. I don't know if it's light use or if he cleans it. Not really sure. But we'll just give it a quick service, a quick cleanup. Doesn't need much cleaning. Let's pull that top cover off and have a look. It's not horrible. We'll clean that air filter up. We have seen a lot dirtier saws than this one. I'll put a new plug in this, NGK BPMR7A, gapped properly. I took his air filter over to my compressed air and just blew it all out. And then I will give in here just a blowout before I put the top cover back on. Let's replace his fuel filter. You notice how faded the orange is on that badge? Top cover is not faded, but the badge is. Maybe it sits in a window where the sun shines on it. I have a feeling he doesn't use this saw a whole lot. Let's pull the clutch drum off. We'll just have a peek in there. We'll grease the bearing. Make sure everything looks good in there. Clutch springs are all there. Everything is tight. And I noticed outside, and you can see the saw is oiling well. This saw is pretty clean. I doubt there's a big buildup under here, but what the heck? Let's just take it off. I got nothing better to do. Okay, that's all cleaned, inspected, greased, and put back together. I blew this area out while I had it outside. So new spark plug, new air filter, a little bit of dirt, not too much. Behind the recoil is very clean. I just shot a little bit of air down in there to grab anything loose. Let's just pull that spark arrestor out, have a quick look at it. And that is clean. Well, let's go ahead and put the bar and a new chain back on this. It's pretty clean. I could see in my records that he came in and bought this bar last year. I don't know if he's done much cutting with it. So he's running an 18-inch bar on this saw. So this is a 325, 50 gauge. 74 drive links for a chain, 325, 50 gauge, 74 drive link, 23 RS 74. This chain has a couple little kinks in it. I find the easiest way to get these kinks out is set the chain down on a flat table. Just kind of play around with it to get the knots out, but I think it's easier to do when it's flat. Okay. At first I wondered if maybe that was seized up, but it seems to be working okay. And he supplied one bar nut, so we'll get him one new one. There's the part number for those bar nuts. So I'll gather his old parts up here. I'll just put this chain in the box. When he comes to pick it up, we'll show him that, and then he can keep it, try to fix it. We can throw it out, whatever he wants. And his old spark plug, his old fuel filter. And I think that's it. We cleaned his air filter. And it came with a bar cover. Okay. I'll go invoice this thing out, and I'll grab the next saw online. Thanks for watching. Okay, next up we have an MS250 with a broken pull cord. So we'll go ahead and do the same thing to this one. Okay, so let's pull the rest of that rope out of there. We'll get this piece of string dug out of the handle. So the new string that I'm installing, 3mm Stihl brand. The manual says to use 800 millimeters of string. I've got 900 here. Okay, so we went down to the top of the handle. Now we'll tie our knot. So in through its hole, and then there's a hole in the side there that I can't show you, but it's there. See that? And then it'll just kind of pop up. Pop up in there. Grab it and pull it through. Now I'll tie the knot in this end. Same thing, we want to try to avoid leaving anything sticking out, so that nub, and kind of stick it in. Okay, so there, we have a knot in both ends. Now we'll wind it up. So I'm told that this saw runs excellent, and not to clean it up. He was asked if he wanted a service and cleanup while it was here, and he said, nope, just fix the pull start and call me when it's done. Okay then. Before I put this recoil back on, I'm just going to give this a quick blowout. What kind of person would I be if I didn't? It just went out and had a quick blow off. Hopefully the customer's not too upset with me. And we'll go ahead and reinstall our recoil. What are you to do when you can see something that desperately needs done, cleaned, fixed, whatever it may be, and the customer can't understand that it needs to be done? I don't know, it's a tough one. I'm put in this position all the time to make decisions that I know are best for the saw and for the customer, even if the customer doesn't agree. Recoil is back on. Apparently this thing starts and runs no problem, so it shouldn't give me any hassle outside. We will go fire it up just to make sure, and if it runs, this thing is ready to go as well. I'll see you at the door. Time for a new air filter. I'll just write it on his invoice. It's not my saw and it's not my decision. Let's go outside. Well, I didn't go as planned. You all see what just happened there? That handle came right off of my hand. I installed that rope through the top of this and not one of you said anything. I was testing you all and no one said anything. So on these smaller saws, MS250s, MS180s, MS170s, the rope doesn't go through the top. It goes through the side and then down in. The bigger saws, 271s, 291s, they have a bigger diameter rope. So it goes to the top. That's fine. But yeah, I can't believe you guys let me do that. So let's go do this again. Good enough. Well, here we are with a little MS170 with a running issue. We'll take a quick walk around of this thing. The chain looks to be fairly new. And this one here was made in the USA. I don't know what that tape is for on the handle. Just a dirty little saw. Okay, well, let's check the fuel. Check the bar oil. And then we'll take it outside and see if it'll run for us. We'll start with a clean cup. I don't see any water in this fuel. It's pretty clean. It looks good and it smells fine. Fuel tank is clean inside. Put his fuel back in it. We'll check the bar oil and then we'll head outside. It is full of bar oil. Well, let's pop outside with this thing. See if it starts for us, see how it sounds. I'll meet you out there. Well, there you go. This thing runs like a dirty little unmaintained MS170. Some people live in the Sun Belt. Some people live in the Rust Belt. I live in the I don't maintain my chainsaw belt. Well, first things first, let's pull the bar and chain off this. These MS170s have an awkward little front tensioner on them, unless you have upgraded yours to the side tensioner, which we did a video about a few weeks ago, which shows you how to easily go from front tension to side tension. Well, let's pull that top cover off and see what we have under here. That there is a completely used up air filter. That should have been replaced a long, long time ago. Lots of dirt ingestion. Let's pull that spark plug out and take a look. Looks like a newer spark plug, doesn't it? Spark plug is fouled. I'll grab my camera, take a quick look down the hole. Well, the next thing that we should do on this MS170 is check the spark arrestor and that muffler. See if it's still there, and if it is, see if it's clean. If you have an MS170 at home and it gives you running issues, power issues, won't rev up, any of those sorts of things, this spark arrestor causes people a lot of problems. And it is still in this one. So it's not plugged up, it's partially plugged up, like just starting to. So we'll clean that out, put it back in. I just had a look in at the piston and it looks really good actually. Okay, so I've cleaned that screen all up. We'll just put this back together. Let's put a new spark plug in this. NGK BPMR 7A. Gapped properly. Okay, come with me. Let's pop outside and fire this saw back up. We've taken his dirty air filter out. We've put a fresh plug in it, clean that spark arrestor. Let's see without an air filter if this thing runs any better. Okay, I'll meet you out there. run pretty good now. Well, that thing runs better, doesn't it? Between that plugged up nasty air filter, fouled up spark plug, and a partially plugged spark arrestor, this chainsaw doesn't stand a chance. We've also taken a new chain off of it, so who knows what the old chain looked like. If this thing was trying to cut wood with a dull chain and a dirty air filter and like, you see what I mean here? There's just all these little things just add up to, like, the chainsaw just can't do what you want it to do if you don't maintain it. So we've put a new plug in it. We have cleaned that spark arrestor out. We're going to put a new air filter in it. These are so inexpensive that he should probably just carry a few extras on hand. Like, maybe that's the original one. I don't know. I'm going to take this thing outside and just give it a quick blow off just to get the bulk of this garbage off of it. And then we'll put it back together and he can come get it. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, it went outside and had just a light cleanup. So let's put the bar and chain back on. New spark plug, new air filter, spark arrestor cleaned out. It had a little mini blow off. Bar and chain back on. Let's pop outside one more time with it. And if it runs good, that'll be it for this one. I'll see you out there. Another MS250. Something not right. Let's pull that recoil off and take a look. I see some of the hardware is half out. Actually, it's all half out. So he must have tried to fix it. Can't blame a guy for trying, can you? Looks like we got a bit of damage here. That starter pawl is damaged. This doesn't feel right when I pull it out. I'm going to take this apart and we'll look it over good. Yeah, so there's the piece I took off. And there's what a new one looks like. He's probably started this thing 5,000 times and it's just wore out. So let's install the new one. There's the part number. All right, well, this saw is not getting cleaned up at all. The customer is literally standing out front, huffing and puffing. He's got a 90-foot tree to cut down. It's across his driveway. People can't get in. It's an emergency. So we're going to fix this right now. Stop the shop. Drop what you're doing. Well, at least I have someone to share my frustrations with now. Thanks, guys and girls.